Hey beauty babes, welcome to my channel. I'm Maria, aka Agape Love Girl. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm going to be sharing 3 looks with one palette. I'm going to be using the Viva La Vida palette from MBA Cosmetics, which looks like this. It's a beautiful palette, one of my favorite palette bundles that they have come out with. MBA Cosmetics does have, I think, 7 currently on their site. These are actually individual single shadows they put together as a bundle, and you can buy them together. If you would like just the shadows themselves, it's $20. If you would like them in the palette, it is $24. And as most of you guys do already know, I am affiliated with MBA Cosmetics, so I do have an affiliate code with them. The code is agapelovegirl, which will save you 10% off your purchase at MBA Cosmetics for anything on their website. So while I think their prices are insanely affordable already, you can still save a little bit of money by using my code if you do want. Anyways, I'm so excited to finally be uploading this video because this is taking me so long. I literally started this video back in May, I believe, and I filmed 2 of the tutorials right off the bat, and then I had this last tutorial that I wanted to film, but I kept kind of pushing it for either new launches that kind of came in, and so I kind of put importance on other new launches and things like that, and then my film time just dwindled down with my new job, and so this last tutorial took me so long to film, but I'm just so glad to finally have filmed it and bring this video to you because you guys know that MBA Cosmetics is a brand that I absolutely love so much, and this is one of their eyeshadow palette bundles that I fell in love with. I just love this color story so much, and even though I'm not a big fan of blue eyeshadows, there's just something about this color story that's so pleasing, very complimentary, and I just found myself creating a bunch of different looks with it and just having so much fun. You may or may not be able to tell, but this is a pretty worn palette. I've created so many looks. I could put some looks on the screen for you guys to see as I'm chatting here with you guys. And even though it's a little bit more of a kind of neutral-ish palette with, you know, the fun pops of blues, I felt like I could create so many different looks, and I absolutely love playing around with this palette. So I really wanted to be able to put this video together and share all about this palette with you guys. Anyways, like I said, this is a 3 looks, 3 tutorials with this palette that I'm going to be sharing with you, but I thought really quickly I would do some swatches of all of the shadows so you could kind of see a better look at them, and then we will roll into the tutorials. All right, I'm zoomed in so you guys can see the swatches up close. I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm just going to finger swatch them, and I'm going to do them on my finger right here so you guys can see. In this palette, there are 8 shadows. 3 of them are matte shadows, and 5 of them are the MBA Cosmetics Silk Effects shadows. Now, the MBA Cosmetics Silk Effects shadows are some of my very favorite shadows. The Silk Effects shadows are just a very silky, satiny type of shadow. Some of them can look more metallic than others, but they're not super foiled or metallic looking shadows, but they are just very beautiful, creamy, easy to work with. So anyways, 3 of the Silk Effects shadows have kind of complementary matte shades in here, and then the 2 blues are the Silk Effect shadows. So anyways, I'm just going to kind of swatch the complementary shadows alongside each other, right next to each other, just so you guys can see, because they are kind of apart from each other in the palette, but I like the way the palette is set up like this. I feel like you can kind of see the color combinations a little bit better, but anyways, I'm going to go ahead and swatch them, and just so you guys know, they do have names on the back of the shadows. This first one is Stucco, and then the complementary Silk Effect shadow is called Fiesta. That's what those 2 look like. Next up we have, I think this is Baked Earth, or Baked Earth, which is a matte shade. And then somewhat similar, we have Santa Clara, which is a Silk Effect shadow that is a little bit more of a copper shade. Oh, this one is so pretty and so creamy. And then here's a little bit of a closer look at those shadows for you. All right, next up we're going to go into the greens. The matte shade is Yucatan Jungle. And then the Silk Effects one is Prickly Pear. I used the majority of these shadows on my lid today. I think the only shade I didn't use is this dark blue one today. So pretty much you could see all of these shadows on my eyes today. They're all beautiful. So anyways, we're gonna go into the blues. Both of these, like I said, are Silk Effect shadows. The lighter kind of teal blue is called Montezuma. And then this dark one is Blue Agave. Super, super pretty. Ooh. It's been a while since I played with these shadows, so that darker blue, ooh, that is super, super pretty. That kind of like shocked me a little bit in a good way. Super, super pretty. Okay, and again, I will go ahead and zoom in to give you guys a better look at these last 4 shadows. The green one swatch looks so light, but I think it's because of that, the gold reflex in it. It kind of makes it look lighter and less pigmented, but it's actually really, really pigmented. It just has a nice golden shine and sheen to it. But this little color story right here is beautiful. Alright, and that is it for the swatches. I just want to keep it short and sweet, but still want to show you guys all the colors up close. But you will see a lot, if not all of these, I believe, in action in the tutorial. So let's go ahead and roll into those. So I'm going to start off by priming my eyes with the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. Now with a bit of a smaller blending brush, this is the Smith 230, I'm going to go into the shade Yucatan Jungle, which is a matte green shade. I'm going to start by kind of carefully and slowly packing that on the outer corner of my eyes and blending it into the crease. This is quite a dark shade, so I want to start lightly. And since the primer is a little bit tacky, I just want to do a little bit at a time and then slowly blend. Now I'm going to go in with a clean, fluffy blending brush just to help blend and diffuse that shadow out so it doesn't look too harsh on the edges, just looks nice and soft now that I've packed it all on. Now with that same blending brush, I'm going to go into the shade Stucco, which is a kind of deep yellow matte shade, just to continue to soften the edges and add a little bit more color and gradient there. Next, with another smaller blending brush, I'm going to go into the shade Blue Agave and start taking that onto the outer corner of my eyes as well and blending that low into my crease just under the shade Yucatan Jungle. Now with a flat shader brush, this one is from Bodyography, I'm going to go into that beautiful turquoise shade called Montezuma and place that on the inner portion of my lid. Alright, now I'm going to go in with another very, very small blending brush. This is the Stilazzi Mini Crease Fluff, the L217. And I'm going to go back into that green matte shade Yucatan Jungle and blend that into my lower lash line. Alright, I think I'm going to just take a tiny, tiny bit of Blue Agave and run that real tight and close to my lower lash line. Then blend it with a little bit more of that green shade. And lastly, I just want to blend everything out with that shade Stucco and that big fluffy blending brush. Alright, that's going to do it for the eyes right now. I may pop one of those other Silk Effect shadows in my inner corner, but I do want to put on the rest of my face first. I'm going to do that for another video, and then I will be right back to complete the eye and wrap up this tutorial. Now that my face is done, I think I'm going to go ahead and go into the shade Fiesta and use that for a little inner corner pop. Then I'm going to go ahead and line my waterline with the LA Girl Shockwave Neon Liner in the shade Fresh. I thought that would make for a fun pop of color rather than the standard black. And then I'm going to use the Virtuous by Veronica lashes in the style Favored. To wrap up this look, I thought it would be fun to do a little star stamp, so I'm going to be using the Lotte London stamp. And that is it. That wraps it up for this look. I'll give you guys some close-ups so you get a better view of it as usual. And that wraps it up for this look. Blues are actually quite out of my comfort zone. I've talked about before how I'm not a big fan of blues, but I do think that this color story from this eyeshadow collection is just so beautiful, and I've had so much fun playing around with all these shades, and these blues are just stunning. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. So for this next look, I do already have some concealer on my eyes from cleaning up my brows, and I did already pre-prime them with the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion just to save a little bit of time. And I'm going to go ahead and go in with a single shadow shield. I'm going to go ahead and cut it in half and place those on the outer corners of my eyes, as you guys have seen me do before, to help me achieve a wing liner later on in this look. I'm going to start off with a small round blending brush. This is the Smith 230, and I'm going to go into the shade Yucatan Jungle. I'm going to start by placing that mostly on the outer corner of my eyes and then slowly blending it forward into my crease. Now just to soften the edges, I'm going to go ahead and take a clean blending brush and just lightly blend over the very edges of where I laid that color down. This is the Smith 232 brush, and it's just a little bit bigger and fluffier than the Smith 230. Now for just a little bit of a gradient blended effect, I'm going to go into the shade Stucco with a very small blending brush. This is the Stilazzi L217, their mini crease fluff, and I'm going to lightly blend along the edges of where I placed down Yucatan Jungle. Now with a flat shadow brush, I'm going to go into the shade Prickly Pear and take that on to my lid, mostly focusing on the center portion of my lid and the outer corner portion of my lid. I want to leave the inner portion open for another color. This brush is the Sedona Lace EB09, in case you were curious. Now with that same brush just wiped off, I'm going to go into the shade Fiesta and take that to the inner portion of my lid, basically the rest of my lid that doesn't have shadow on it. Alright, now I'm going to go back into the matte shade Yucatan Jungle, just do a little bit of cleanup on the outer edges. Alright, and that pretty much does it for the upper lids. I'm going to go ahead and add my winged liner now. I'm going to be using the Urban Decay Perversion Waterproof Eyeliner. Once my liner is applied, I'm going to go ahead and take off the shadow shields for a satisfying wing reveal. Moving on to the lower lash line, I'm going to go back into the shade Yucatan Jungle, and I want to place this really close to my lower lash line. I don't want it to be too much, so I'm taking a very small smudgy brush. This is the smallest smudge brush that I have. It's from Sigma. It's the Smudge E21, and I'm just going to run that real tight to my lower lash line. I'm going to try to focus most of the color towards the outer portion of my eyes and try to make the line a little bit thinner the closer I get to the inner corner of my eyes. Now going back with that mini crease fluff from Stilazzi, that tiny little blending brush, I'm going to go back into the shade Stucco, that matte yellow, and use that to blend and diffuse that green shadow out. Alright, and that's going to do it for the eyes for right now. I'm going to go ahead and do my face off camera, and I'll be back to wrap up this look. Alright, I'm back with my face done, and there are a few more things I wanted to do to wrap up this eye look. So I got this new Fenty Beauty highlighter. Well, it's not new, but new to me from a friend in Trophy Wife. This is actually the highlighter that I do have on my face today. It's more so very, very glittery, and I just thought it would be really, really pretty to pop on the inner corners of my eyes. I thought it'd be very complimentary to this look. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to take a small dual fiber blending brush and just lightly place that on the inner corner. And as you can see, hopefully you can see, it's very similar, I think, to that shade Fiesta that I have on the inner corner of my eyes. It's just a little bit brighter and offers a little bit more sparkle. So it just goes so beautifully with this look, I think. Next up, to complete the eyes, I'm going to use the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in the shade Overdrive, which is this beautiful hunter green shade. And then I am going to go ahead and apply some lashes. I'm going to be using the Pure Cosmetics Bombshell Lashes. And that completes it for the eyes. I'm going to go ahead and show them to you up close so you can get a better idea of how the colors are looking. But then I'm going to go ahead and apply a lip color really quick. I've been really loving these new Revlon Super Lustrous Shine Glass lipsticks. They're so, so beautiful, but I'm going to be applying the shade Rum Raisin today. And that completes it for this look. I really hope you guys enjoyed this second tutorial. I really like it. It was a very, very simple look, but I just love these colors together. You guys know I am obsessed with green shades, and I just think it's a really pretty look. Simple but beautiful, and I hope you guys enjoyed. So for this last tutorial, this is actually a look I did way back in April. I really, really liked it. I already posted the photo of the look on my Instagram, and I really, really liked it. So I also wanted to create a tutorial for this look, just in case any of you guys were curious to see how I created it, or to see more of the shadows in action, of course. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by priming my eyes. I'm going to be using the Ofra Eye Primer. Next, since I am going to be creating a wing liner, I'm going to grab a shadow shield, cut it in half as I usually do, place each half on the outer corner of my eyes. Now I'm going to be taking a blending brush and going into the shade Baked Earth, and I'm going to take that on the inner portion of my crease. Next, taking a similar blending brush, I'm going to go into the shade Yucatan Jungle and start placing that on the outer corner of my eye and blending that into my outer corner of my crease as well. And I do want it to kind of blend a little bit with that Baked Earth shade, but not too much. I'm kind of stopping right before it blends too much, because these two shades will kind of mute each other out and muddy up, just because they are close to very complementary colors, and complementary colors when blended together do tend to muddy and turn brown. So I'm going to stop just before it blends too much. Now, because I don't want these to look too unblended, I'm going to take a bigger, fluffier blending brush. I'm going to go into the shade Stucco and kind of lightly blend over each of those shades. This might tone the shades down just a little bit, but I'll also be able to kind of blend them together without them muddying together. Now, if you can tell, I'm kind of taking my time over each color, kind of blending lightly on the edges and kind of doing it a little bit separately, and then lightly blending right where they meet. Now I'm going to be taking a flat tapered shader brush, and I'm going to go into the shade Montezuma, and I'm going to go ahead and lay that over the majority of my lid. I'm going to create kind of a cut crease style look, but it's more of a faux cut crease, so I'm not actually cutting my crease. at all, but it will kind of look like a cut crease look. Now just for a little bit more blending, I'm going to go back into the shade Yucatan Jungle just to deepen up the outer corner and kind of blend it in with that blue shade I just laid down. Alright, now here's where we're going to start making our faux cut crease look more like an actual cut crease. I'm going to go ahead and use the Urban Decay Heavy Metal Glitter Liner in the shade Midnight Cowboy, and I'm just going to be lining the edge of where I laid down that blue shade. Alright, next up I'm going to be applying my winged liner, and then I'll be doing my lashes right after that because I have recently discovered and I've been loving and using the Kiss Lash Glue Liner. So it's a black pen. They also have a clear one, but I like this black one. It's a black liner pen, but it's also a lash glue in one. So I'm going to create my winged liner, and then it also serves as a lash glue, so I will pop my lashes right on top. For my lashes, I am using the VBV lashes in the Style Favored, which is the same lashes that I wore for the original look back in April. Alright, with my wings done and my lashes on, I'm going to go ahead and remove my shadow shields. Next up, I'm going to take a pencil brush and go into the shade Yucatan Jungle and blend that onto my lower lash line. And then I'm going to go ahead and top that with the shade Prickly Pear. And with that, I am going to go ahead and finish up my face and come back so we can complete this eye look. So next up, I'm going to go into the shade Fiesta and pop that into my inner corner. Lastly, I'm going to apply the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in the shade Overdrive to my waterline. Then I'll finish up the look with some mascara on my lower lashes, and then I will show you guys some close-ups of this look. Alright, and that wraps it up for this last tutorial. I really hope you guys enjoyed these looks that I've shared and this video in general. If you are someone who has picked up this palette, I hope you feel inspired by the looks that I created. And if you were someone who has never heard of MBA Cosmetics before, I do hope that you would consider checking them out. MBA Cosmetics is a woman-owned small independent business. She does hand make, I think, probably I would say 98% of her products. I've actually gone to visit the owner. Her name is Sherry, in Ohio, where her shop is located, and I got to see some behind the scenes of how her products are made, which is really exciting. And I do have some videos on my channel. They're quite a bit older by now, but they're still fun and exciting to see how her products are made. So I have one on her Silk Effects shadows, as well as how she makes her Chromalites Foil Effects glitters, which are her a form of pressed glitters, and it's super fascinating. So if you were interested in seeing those, how it's made videos, I'll go ahead and link those. And I do have a playlist of a bunch of other videos featuring MBA Cosmetics. But anyways, with all that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'd love to know your thoughts on this palette and these looks. But with all that being said, I just want to thank you so much for watching. And until next time, much love and hugs to you. Bye, beauty babes. Mwah!